Hello everyone, my name is Arun and welcome to my channel. This is a series of tutorials on C programming, and now in this video I'll be explaining to you guys about this program structure in detail. Now first thing is this block of code over here from 4 to 8. This is actually the main function. So whenever you write a program in C, first the mandatory thing that has to be available is this main function over here. Okay, what you do is just write main within this brackets, normal brackets, and afterwards you put in these curly brackets over here. Okay, and inside this curly brackets you write all the statements. This curly brackets indicates the all the statements that belong to this statement over here. This is just like a wrap around all the instructions that belong to this main function over here. Now if you do not have this main function, you cannot run the C program. So it has to be mandatory. Okay, now with that being said, so you have to write a main function first to start running programs. Second thing is, like, what about this int statement? The thing is this int and this return 0. Those are next things. Now if you take any function for that matter, they can tend to return some values as output. For instance, if you take a function, let's say a simple function, let's say that will calculate the area of a rectangle, you have to plug in the length and you have to give in the length and breadth of the rectangle as inputs to a particular function, and it will take the values, calculate the area, and will return, and it's going to return the area of the rectangle. That function will return the area of the rectangle. Fair enough. Now what you have to specify here is that you just have to specify the data type of the particular function, the return value of the particular function. So if you're calculating the area of a rectangle, then it can be an integer if you take integer areas, integer values, or it can be how do I say, it can be a float or some kind of a number with some decimal points in it. Okay, that will be more realistic. So yeah, I'm just specifying this here, that the main function is going to return an integer value. Okay, I'm just going to say it's going to return 0. We need the statement return 0, okay, over here, because this tells us that when this program successfully runs, okay, it's going to return 0. Suppose instead the program has some problem, and when it runs, instead of returning 0, if it returns some other value, it means that there is some problem in the program. That's all it means. That's all it means. Okay, and now this line over here, okay, this is here we're just calling the print function inside C program to print this statement hello world on the screen. Okay, so this printf is nothing but a print function, okay, available in C, and it takes this input argument. This takes this input argument hello world. Okay, and since this is actually text file, text input, or a string, okay, you have to put this in double quotes. Okay, and this \n is actually for creating a new line when you print hello world. Okay, this is actually an escape sequence or an escape character. We'll talk about this in the future. So this is actually a simple explanation. So you need this main function over here, and you write and within this curly brackets you write all the statements one after the other, and you have to end with the semicolon. That is mandatory. The semicolon indicates that the particular statement is complete, particular instruction or statement is complete. So if I do not put the semicolon and I put and I run this, compile this will throw me an error. It says at line number 7, the error, it expected a colon before the return statement, and you can also see this rectangular block or rectangular block over here indicating that something was wrong in that line. If I put this semicolon back, and I compile this, I'm good to go. Now I don't have any errors. So this is how we do it. And next thing is these include statements over here. What do they mean? Now there is a big explanation behind it. I'm not want to say this out right now, because if I do it, this will be too confusing and too complicated to understand. So as for now, just understand that if I include these statements over here, these files over here, they'll have the definitions of what this function means. That's it. So if I want to use printf statement, let's say the definition of this printf statement is written somewhere else over here, it's kept in some file somewhere else, and if I include this stdio.h or stdlib.h, what will happen is that particular function definition will be used, okay, while running this file, and that's about it. That is the simplest way to explain this. So if you want to include a particular file definitions, let's say, or some program definitions, let's say, those files will be available somewhere else, and you include the corresponding name with the file name with an extension .h over here, it will include. I have written all of this in this. Okay, I've written all of this over here in this text file over here. I'm just going to help. This is just for a reference. Okay, if you work with C programs, let's say, there are like multiple file extensions that you'll come across. The first one is actually the files with the H extension H, which is called as a header file, and then you'll come across the C files over here with extension C, and then you'll come across the object files with extension O. And what do they mean is as follows. Let's come to C files over here. This is actually a C file where we write the main program, and also we can also use this to write other functions that we might use in the future. Okay. Whenever you compile the C program, you will get an object file, and this object file will have the instruction that whatever we gave in the machine level language. Remember that the computer ultimately understands what you call as a machine level language, which is written in machine level instructions, which is in zeros and ones, which is not easy for us humans to understand very easily. It will take us a lot of time, and it's complicated, very complicated. Okay, so it's not easy. So what the C compiler does is that it takes this instruction that we write over here. This is much easier to understand, and it will convert that into machine level instructions. Okay, it will translate, and that machine level instruction is stored in the object files, and those object files can be used for making executable to run it, to do the operation. Finally, you get this executable by combining these object files. Okay, and that is what we are going to. That is what happens over here. So whenever I build this file, what happens is that this entire C file and all the other C files that are related to the project, they'll be compiled to produce object files, and those object files will be merged together to form an executable file. Okay, and when I click this run button over here, that executable will be run, and thereby we get what we want to do. Okay, here I'm just going to print it as hello world, and that's it. Suppose if I make a change, let's say, suppose I write hello world or something, hello world, my name is Arun. Okay, my name is Arun. Now if I run this, it will still tell me hello world, because when we changed this file and we did not use the executable, we did not we didn't recompile and make a new executable. So when I run this, it just use the older executable that is available. So if I want to make this possible, I have to build this again and run it again. Now I do it. Now it shows me the answer. Hello world, my name is Arun, and it shows fine. Fair enough. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So whenever you make changes to the file, you have to build it first to produce object files, and then and the executable, and then you have to press run to produce the actually execute the program. And now if you're having code blocks, let's say, this is how the structure looks like. You have this code block overall layout file, and if you double click it, it will invoke the code block program. Okay, this bin file will have the binaries. If I go inside this debug, this will have the executable file. This is our executable file generated for this program over here. And inside this object file over here, object folder over here, this is called as obj. If I look into debug, this will have the O file, the object file which we saw. So this file has this machine level instructions, and this machine level instruction with a little more of a features, it will be created into an object, into an executable like this. We'll talk about more of this in detail in the future. Okay. Right now, just keep in mind that if you want to use any functions available in other files, let's say, you include the corresponding include the header file on which the function definition was written, thereby making it life easier, and then you start writing a controls here. And I'll put this in the folder. So that you use this as a reference to understand what's happening over here. We'll talk about all this header file inclusions, the main file, and how this function definitions are being done in detail in the future videos. That's all I have for you guys in this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in another video where we'll be going into deeper and more complicated topics. So till then, take care.